Thank you very much, Kyle. Nuke, our final destination for this best of three for one team. They will qualify, move to the next stage. For the other, they'll have to play another best of three against Gambit Youngsters after this. Vox is now coming through with the, well, I was about to say face crack on the other side of the smoke, and he's actually going to get the upper hand in that encounter and turn his head the other way. What the hell happened to that body? It went skyrocketing into the air, and now 3-on-3, that really caught me off guard as Nemiga are pushing onto the site. Z-Power with his USP comes in with one. Jo answers back straight away. He's picked up all the kills so far. Speedak's going to take the ace away from him. Not that he'll give a damn, because it's looking good for the pistol. Going the way of Nemiga after a very disappointing, hefty loss on Inferno. Speedak puts the final bullet down range. A full house of frags. Him with 2, Jo with 3, and the third map has started well for Nemiga.
That was pretty wild, Vince. That was kind of all over the place, but that does sometimes happen when you have two aggressive teams just kind of scrapping against each other, just exchanging blows and exchanging trades on the server, and Nemiga do come out on top on the end of all of it, so they'll get the MAC-10s, a couple of rifles, and some utility. forZe forcing up what they can, and Flick getting pretty aggressive here towards ramp room.
Down come the SMGs. It's going to be an A-centric hit as Nemiga look to really stamp down their authority again. Just the ankle was protruding out of the smoke. MDS not having the same rough start as the 007. On Inferno, he's already got himself a kill. That'll be good for the confidence. forZe, in the meanwhile, hot off the back of a 4 not looking good. Looking like we're going to see some saves. And Dust, did you also see that player in the pistol just fly into the sky, or was my game bugged?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was definitely caught me off guard.
I forget what it is, like the space one where he like launches in outer space.
Oh yeah.
Someone
Bag
can...
Riders, wasn't it, or something?
I don't know. You've played it before, I feel like, on base or something.
Yeah, I have. It's actually not a bad baseline.
Let's do it. No? Okay.
Mate, I'd be scared because, you know, Twitch is really cracking down with the whole music thing on Twitch. So, you know, I don't want to get WePlay wrecked.
That is fair. That is fair. Don't want the DMCA looming over your head. I'm sure WePlay also appreciate that idea to not do that. Hey, Vince, guess what?
There's a lot of ways you could go with this, but what's up?
There's a Zeus on the field.
Oh yes, Face Crack does have the Zeus, just the 2 bits of Kevlar alongside it, flashbang and some 5.7. So as far as pistol rounds go, or I should say ecos, this actually isn't too bad. But Nemiga have done a very good job of managing to avoid most of these pitfalls. Not this time though. Flip with the 5.7 with 1. Keep in mind, at one point he was 20-1 on Inferno. He had such a good performance, and there's the 5.7 again. He also pulled off a hell of a clutch, and he may have just done enough to clutch this round for forZe. Unless the rest of the team just gets submerged and swept away by the MAC-10 of MDS, who gets up close. Almeza, in amongst the chaos, has managed to rummage his way through the smoke, and there it is. You can cross it off the list, Dust. We've had our first Zeus kill of the day.
Oh, the joy. The joy I feel. The joy that forZe probably feels too for pulling that off. That was nasty from Flit in particular. Such a brilliant individual effort on ramp to just use some tricky movement and some good aim with the 5.7 to pull off some very impactful frags. I'm sure Nemiga are disappointed they did not trade that out efficiently and give themselves a chance. They should be winning that round every day of the week, but they don't, and now we have ourselves a scrappy beginning here to nuke. Z-Power, a little bit of a different op angle than normal. You don't see that used too often. Definitely can be quite useful. Definitely catches Jo off guard.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of angles that you can't use too many times, and it's very susceptible to getting countered off most flashbangs. But yeah, in that case, you can see up and over, takes the kill, drops back down again. He's done his damage, he's done his job, and now the Nemiga are going to be struggling, especially with Box taking a lot of hits through the smoke. He's down to 6 HP.
And here's the thing, man. Like, I don't envy any team who winds up losing here and having to play Gambit Youngsters in the lower bracket, because that team has pretty stacked with talent, pretty good strategically. I'm actually quite surprised they lost to Espada. So that is definitely not a situation you want to be in. As winning here will move you on to stage 3, which is kind of the main stage of this whole thing. Losing means Gambit Youngsters, as you said, is the target you have to beat to still find your way there. Good entry there from Lollipop on the face crack. That is going to begin to open things up here outside and towards the upper bomb site for Nemiga.
Time dwindling away, however, but headshots still prime directive on MDS. Flit back with one. Not going to be able to get any more from Hutz. He was pretty much pincered and couldn't do a great deal from that. Had to fight his way out of that position. And now Z-Power with the AWP. This would be a worthwhile save. It's a difficult one to stomach if you're forZe, because you just went around, you're feeling pretty good after having basically 5.7s and pistols. To instantly lose back again and lose the AWP as well is so grim.
Yeah. Also, I think that you're misusing Prime Directive, Vince.
Directive? Go on then.
You don't know what the Prime Directive is?
No, I'm just curious why you think I'm misusing it.
Because it's just about like not tampering with alien life and stopping their natural progression. That's the Prime Directive. Not to slay people.
I thought it was like basically what your goal is.
No.
It can be used in different senses, right?
The only time I've ever heard is from Star Trek, and it was you can't tamper with alien life. Like you can only observe. You're not supposed to stop or alter their natural evolution. That's the Prime Directive. Or Rule 1 of the Prime Directive.
I've got to be honest, I can't say I've seen much Star Trek. So that might be the issue.
How dare you, Vince?
What can I say?
The
I'm
new
the Scrub confirmed.
With Chris Pine?
The new movies?
Was Khan in one of them in the recent ones? They're good, man. Definitely should have a look.
Well, nothing good about this buy if you're forZe. They end up going in for a forced buy. Nova, M4, MP9, of course, the AWP again for Z-Power wasn't saved. He had to rebuy another one, and so this puts them in such a bad position. With the lucky utility, they can't stave off Squeaky Push or Hut Push either. Speed comes out with the AWP, puts it down range, and now Nemiga looking good for a 4-1. It's been such a strange game where each map had started off very one-sided, and it's just been so back and forth, like a real yo-yo.
Yeah, it seems like Nemiga, though, are finally starting to clamp control on the early portions of Nuke. This will be another 2-round winning streak after winning the first 2 rounds. And the money for forZe is, well, pretty bad.
Yeah, this time, though, they're not going to fall into the trap of giving this AWP away. But in terms of T-sides, has been pretty rough going. And again, we've already discussed about forZe having some issues when it comes to their consistency and really putting out any kind of performances that you can really get behind and feel confident with. But this is a map that most people, I mean, the desk in particular, was saying really should be going away with forZe. That when you look at their stats, when you look at their ability levels on Nuke, they're very solid, especially on their CT side. Well, the start of this map would suggest otherwise.
Yeah, Nemiga look to be back in the driver's seat of this series, Vince. It's getting a little bit scary for forZe. You definitely want to be able to establish yourself on the CT side of Nuke. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Maybe it's not a TT side as it used to be, but still, typically the defense is going to be favored here on this map. And obviously this round, they're not going to be able to do a whole hell of a lot. They're trying to recycle this AWP, but Spidak is just not having any of it. Neither is Lollipop. Ooh, last blood on Mag. Right in between the eyes of Almazer. See you later, alligator. I guess I could have gone see you later, Alamazer.
Yeah, wouldn't have been bad.
Okay.
Oh, we might quite literally see them later in the next best of 3 if this continues, Dust.
Yeah, that's true. Also, Lollipop has to be one of the more interesting names for a player.
It's a strange one, isn't it?
21K. Does that mean it's like a $21,000 lollipop? Because that would be insane. Like, I don't know what it would have to be fetching that much monetary value.
Yeah, I actually have no idea what the 21K could stand for. Maybe it's like a Belarus expression, or maybe it has some like other meaning to it. Maybe someone in chat or on Twitter can tell us.
Like some of like the different like clubs or whatever, like 1G and IWNL, or like some of the NA clubs that players would be a part of alongside the team.
They do finally have a buy worth a fair chunk of money. It's been a very rough beginning economically, been up and down, but Z-Power without any grenades, going to be taking some aggression through on Squeaky. We have seen Nemiga already playing there a number of times. Damage inflicted through Hut onto Jerry, but it's only a quarter of his HP. Flit extinguishing the Molotov. I think for a moment thought about pushing in there, decides better of that, but now Z-Power has gone in for a kill, and FaceCrack takes that opportunity to push into Squeaky, but Speedak will not miss and lays him down, and that's really not the ideal course of events as far as forZe were concerned. They needed to keep all their players alive because their utility is very low.
Z-Power getting aggressive here inside the hut with AWP is going to be able to get it back onto the forZe side of things as far as man count goes. MDS trying to reclaim that territory and see if Z-Power was still lingering around, but Z-Power is smartly backed off into the site in a more safe position. Jerry has his mini garage covered from behind the big blue bin, as there are definitely a couple of T's moving around in that area, and they may look to make a move, and they have been spotted now as well. Could get interesting now.
MDS dropping down onto Hut. Time is of the essence, and the Nemiga need entries. Worth their weight in gold right about now. forZe looking like maybe they can double their score. 15 seconds now. Z-Power turning his attention back into main. Shot rings out. MDS, last man standing, needs to save the AK, doesn't want to die after time. At least build up some of that economy, but actually could die through the smoke of Z-Power. Nemiga's economy is still in great shape, of course, but at least forZe have got 2 on the board, and they kept 3 players alive with 2 AKs.
Yeah, but they just don't want these rounds to be on an island, Vince. They want to be able to capitalize and actually streak some together, because, again, you're putting yourself in really dangerous waters if you're allowing the T side to swell too much. Again, I know that this version of Nuke is a little bit more balanced than previous versions that were just heavily CT-sided, but you still want to be able to establish a strong defense on this map. Still does lean a little bit towards that CT side, so hopefully this is the spark they need to get things rolling, at least for their sake. I personally don't care either way, you know. Teach their own.
Well, it's important to be impartial, you know, in these games. You just want to see good Counter-Strike.
Exactly.
Although Twitch chat will often tell us differently. These casters are bet on the games. Definitely don't. Made out onto Secret. J.O. stood by, does catch a glimpse of it, but it's not really that much damage to write home about. However, Nemiga making moves outside, keeping Secret for a potential rotation. I love this position. Realizing that one way to counter outside control is to push around the back from Secret. So if Jerry gets a bit antsy and tries to go in, he should be coming up worse for wear. Z-Power now feeling the pressure, goes for the wide swing, gets punished by MDS, and JO is keeping that pressure applied downstairs. Jerry has to just give this up.
Nemiga is doing so well right now on their T side as far as controlling the map, pressuring multiple areas, making it hard on CTs to guess where they need to be, on make it very difficult for them to rotate or move freely anywhere, actually. Now it's going to be the upper take coming in through Mini, and it's going to be finding the entries. Vince, this is just a clean sweep almost. Almazer found 1, but that's going to be about all she wrote. And another reset to forZe, Vince. Money so low as well. This is looking quite grim on Nuke here thus far for forZe.
Yeah, I almost want to say it's been downgraded from grim to bleak at this stage, because, I mean, grim's like the opening stages to when things are going a little bit wrong, and then bleak is the outlook for the bigger picture of how this half and how this map and this best of 3 potentially goes. You've put yourself into a really awkward position here, forZe. Economically speaking, you're going to be trailing for the bulk of this half unless you can get some consistency, and that's been the main issue that they have sustained throughout this tournament. We've seen high highs but very low lows, and they're now eyeing up a potential buy. A couple players, well, 3 of them below $4,000, so even now it wouldn't be ideal, so they're going to go for a half buy instead.
Yeah, I think that's just really been the summary of 2020 for forZe. Again, they had a very strong end to last year. They were looking really great in some of the DreamHack Open events and Blast Moscow, and everything's gone downhill since Anaheim in January, it seems, or maybe that was February. Either way, Nemiga are just going to be able to kind of mop up what should be a freebie of a round, unless Sally's safe thought advance. He's got a couple of CC kills, and he's picked up an AWP.
Oh, Almeza! 4 kills could be on for the ace as well, and what a turnaround. Just as I was saying about consistency, having a flash in the pan like this could be the moment that just wakes everybody up for forZe, really inspires the comeback. Box is still not out of this round. Don't write him off. He has to control the bomb and time with some utility at his disposal, and he's heading down on ramp towards the B side. Well, actually not. He's going to be wrapping into heaven potentially. They are bypassing each other, the two teams, and Box is still moving all the way around towards main. Was last spotted lobby, so he doesn't expect anybody to be out here watching it. Does the timing favor him? Both the CTs still up in lobby. They can quickly rotate to stop the bomb plant if they hear it come down. They are making a move down ramp, though. It seems like Box has made the correct read, the correct decision. Now they couldn't stop the bomb plant. Now he can get the bomb planted and get into a safe post-plant situation. But now the CT is going on into heaven. This crazy game of cat and mouse as the two teams go for a flank, and he's about to get picked off from Almeza, who gets the ace. That is absolutely sublime.
What a play from him. That could be exactly what they need to finally get going. He was doing really rough individually up until he got that ace, by the way. He went from 2-6 to 7-6 in one round, and that really could be the fuel they need. Gets the op back over to Z-Power, full rifles for everyone else, sealing a round away much earlier than expected, putting Nemiga's economy in complete disarray. If they can win this, they could be working towards a tie very quickly, but man, oh man, Nemiga not letting off the gas pedal very quickly through outside into lower. Already have a 5-on-4 and FaceCrack low on health.
Low on health, but still stands his ground. Smoke down there as well, so the T's don't want to push to try and avenge that frag, and its crossfire is deadly. Absolute lethal hold downstairs from forZe. Just as you were thinking that consistency would become an issue again, they've managed to rummage together a valiant stand after losing the first player outside, and Lollipop with his AK just going to be trying to see if he can find some of these players and bring the economy down a peg or two. Unlikely he'll just try and save for a full minute.
Yeah, it does seem like best bet you can hope for is try to force some rebound out of the CT side, and indeed he has found Almeza, fakes the ladder. Just kind of hanging out upper, trying to get back to this bomb, being guarded by the Oppa Z-Power, who hits the shot, but only the leg. It's giving a little bit of chance for Lollipop, but FaceCrack's on the flank, and that's going to be all she wrote. 6-4, now the score. forZe now hot on the heels of Nemiga, who will have to likely take a save here. Gives him a chance to find 5 and make a half out of this after a very cold start. They were down 5-1 at one point. They've now won 3 of the last 4, excuse me. And so they're starting to get going, Vince. Now we're starting to get an interesting match on our hands. No more super crazy one-sided first half score lines like we had in the first 2 maps.
Yeah, after everything pointing to that being the case, a couple of heroic moments for forZe in particular has made sure that won't be coming to fruition. And now Nemiga with an AK and pretty much a deagle, and that's it. Not looking good to get a 7th round anytime soon. forZe playing this one fairly passively, just having a couple of looks outside. Jerry tossing a grenade up to Silos, not going to do anything. Oh, that aggression out of Squeaky's been a consistent problem. And scratch what I just said, because that one AK has ripped through 2 players and it's opened up the account towards the A site. One in main is going to be wide swinging. That's Jerry. And even through aim punch, Lollipop still connects with the AK and spins around with a deagle. Just as we were talking about forZe getting back into this, they have lost out again. That is unreal.
What is this game, Vince? What is going on? Nothing makes sense. All logic seems to be thrown out. Both teams buying up what they can, scraping the bottom of the barrel to do so. Money is so very low for both teams, but forZe are certainly the ones that are in hotter water at this point. They need this round, otherwise they could be in a lot of trouble. I mean, they are literally at $0 on the bulk of their players.
Smoke out. Jo pushes behind it. Good flashbangs. Not this time. Any double spray will be coming in, but his teammates have his back. As he watches from the grave, Flit and Z-Power 2v4 looking like another save. And I don't know if these are just some mad reads that Nemiga have on forZe, but it seems like there's a real problem and weakness on Squeaky. They don't really throw that much utility towards it, and we've already seen a player just walk out of Squeaky and catch multiple players off guard. Jo has done this 3 or 4 times already. So I don't know if forZe realize this is a weakness, if we're going to see a tactical timeout implemented to try and fix this issue, but I mean, the damage is already starting to be felt. It's reverbing, it's vibrating for the rest of this map because they're already 8 rounds behind. Like, it's 8-4, sorry, they're 4 rounds behind, but 8 rounds on the T side. Like, this is out of control.
Yeah, Nemiga's utility usage has just been really good, and they just also just been super decisive and, again, very assertive. And it's something that we've kind of brought up multiple times throughout these series, how aggressive both of these teams really are. And that aggression can be overwhelming when you're combining it with utility, and you have a team that is on the same page. Their spacing is good. They're committed to the cause. They're, not getting held up, not getting choked up in the door. There's no hesitation. They just go. And, the way that they've been able to combine their smokes and flashes on these upper takes has been, really well coordinated, and it's been very effective. And as you said, they've been able to find this weak point, squeaky door, time and time again. They're continuously finding that entry on the player on the floor and really just kind of building off of that. And forZe have fit in rounds here and there. They streaked together a couple in a row a bit earlier. It's 3-3 in the last 6 rounds played, so that's kind of a tight race in recent times, considering Nemiga's hot start. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, Nemiga is just really tampering with forZe's economy in a really, really rough way, and it really spells doom for forZe. Like they really need to get their acts together consistently, and it just hasn't happened yet. And here it is again.
Yeah, they've really read this segment of the map as a huge gap. It is a huge weakness in which they need to exploit. Meanwhile, forZe have got to try and expunge this. And he just walks out into the open, Flit. I mean, I understand there's going to be more pressure on main, so you want to try and push up and bolster the troops, but in doing so, you've just walked out into a death, and the round's going to follow and pretty much be cleaned up.
Nah, Nemiga designed that so perfectly for that exact purpose. They faked basically the upper take. They put the smoke on Mini. They do a vent dive. It forces CTs to have to respect the lower attack, so they have to start rotating. They don't want to go down the vents because they feel like someone's probably going to be watching that. So their only way to rotate is either through ramp or by going outside the secret, and Nemiga has everything covered with other players just kind of lurking around, waiting for those rotations and cutting them off. I mean, that is just a perfectly designed set piece. They knew exactly how forZe were going to react, and they had everyone in place to deal with it. I mean, that's a thing of beauty right there. I would say go download the demo and watch that through again, and you'll see just kind of how high level that tactic really was.
Hell of a time to bust it out as well, and forZe definitely bit down on that. It was, for all intents and purposes, more of a half-buy situation anyway. They didn't really have that much at their disposal, so they are going to have a full buy now. But Nemiga really just putting on a masterclass of T-side, and Z-Power destroyed as he tries to hop down into secret. He's got 9 HP left. He can't really do anything in terms of going aggressive now.
Yeah, he wanted to be able to float that op out there and try to make a stand, but as you said, now he has forced to just kind of retreat to the lower bomb site and just try to maybe either hold an angle on a ramp dive or a ramp push or something along those lines. I mean, he's just forced into passivity as Nemiga again exercising control of the outside area. Just MDS though, kind of alone. They're wrapping around under heaven. Z-Power, good pickup. Gets his team a man advantage, but here comes that upper take again, Vince.
Yeah, they're able to encircle the heaven area, rain down the fire from Box, and he knows where Almeza is, so he has to drop down and he's low HP. 45 seconds, Nemiga picking up the pace once again. Z-Power point blank range, though, gonna catch Lollipop in transition, and now Face Crack behind the fence is gonna pounce. It looks pretty grim, but forZe holding off with 2 players, and now MDS could maybe get the drop on one of these 2, but the timing for Z-Power could not be better. He realized that heaven was open, flicks across, and gets a 5th round on the side for the Russians.
Yeah, just brilliant defense there from Z-Power, making something out of nothing as well. We talked about the early damage he took and how that would limit his impact probably, but just made some great reads, cut off some of the rotations Nemiga were making. Also, it just seemed like Face Crack went unchecked behind the vent, able just to kind of pop out and grab a free kill. So just, I wouldn't call it sloppiness, but Nemiga definitely weren't as fine-tuned that round as they had been in the past. It does come back to hurt them a little bit.
Nemiga this time playing a little bit slowly. Now going for aggression. And as I say that, Jo outside was aggressive, completely on his own, trying to sell a fake perhaps. Flit now hears a lot of footsteps. Molotov down onto ramp. Stops any initial charge. If they do want to push through there, they're going to be very low on the aggression. So they're kind of stuck in ramp, all 4 of them. This allows forZe to try and take control elsewhere over the map. And Nemiga have to be very respectful of a potential lobby lurk.
Yeah, that was a good job by Flit to buy some time. Also, Z-Power getting the initial pick. Very helpful. As you said, Nemiga are just kind of trapped in here, and I mean, they don't know what to do. Should we go hell? Should we go lower? That pick onto Z-Power does open up heaven as an option. There are 2 CTs on the floor, but they have to worry about Hut and Squeaky as well. So their attention could be diverted all kinds of directions, and Nemiga will now choose to clamp down on lower. They've gotten the entry on Jerry. There's 1 player in the corner. It's going to be Flit, but he's going to get burnt out of position, and that's now the lower take successful. The plant will be now coming in.
Plant will be coming in with 2 players left and forZe. Almeza and Face Crack some spray through from Deacon, I believe it was. Does a little bit of damage, but he runs out of ammunition and he runs out of health. Headshot down from Lollipop. Nemiga looking good for the 10 rounds when the roles reverse at halftime. Almeza's M4. Surgical precision on the strike onto MDS, but there's still 3 more angles he has to be cognizant of with Box, Lollipop, and Speedak alive. Speedak in the shadow with the AWP. Not the ideal position for the AWP spot, to be honest, but he does have a crossfire from Box anyway. So as soon as Almeza peaks, he is a goner. And Nemiga off to a fantastic T-half, and Lollipop, 19 kills with 7 deaths. Very well done.
Yeah, indeed. That's kind of one of the players you always look to on Nemiga to put up the numbers, and he certainly has in this half. Just very well done on the T side from Nemiga there. Through and through, had complete control of the half. Never allowed Nemiga to win more than 2 rounds in a row. So efficient with their upper takes in particular. Even with Jerry only getting 2 kills, they just absolutely swamped forZe. Or limiting him to 2 kills, I should say.
Face Crack now going to be pushing out with the rest of his comrades through on Squeaky. Bomb has been dropped down. But Jerry, through the smoke, actually pierces the headshot. Almeza also comes in with 1, so it's looking pretty good for forZe to pick up the 2nd pistol. MDS, try as he may, does damage, but no kills behind it. And now he feels like he needs to wide swing to try and deny the bomb plant, but it had already gone down, as will he as a result. Jo, 1v4. Going to be ebbing towards the main area. Don't see too many P2000s in play. Typically, it's the USPs. But not that it really makes a great deal of difference whether it has USP or P2000. The end result, probably the same. forZe, 2nd pistol round does go in their favor.
Really needed that one to stay in the game, you feel like. Things have been very hard on forZe on Nuke, but getting that pistol round does give them a little bit of a window to try to jump back into this thing, especially if they can avoid falling prey to this force buy from Nemiga, who have gone for an SMG, a scout, and some upgraded pistols.
Just all the awkward moments there. I don't even. I think that was a knife in frustration being blocked from not hitting the silo, and in doing so, he just right-clicked his teammate in the back. What an absolute nightmare that is.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really put a damper on JO. Yikes, I think is the proper term for a situation like that, Vince.
Especially with it being a force.
Yep.
Like, actually, a lot rests on this. This is forZe's golden ticket back into this map, honestly. And one player's already just been destroyed and is in that Mach 10 range. That is potentially unforgivable for Nemiga, honestly.
I think that's in the business what we like to call you hate to see it.
Really do. Unless you're a fan, in which case you're loving it. Box though with the 2-5-7 headshots. He's gonna make amends. He's like, doesn't really matter if we knife each other because I've got the pistol and I'm just gonna rip everyone's head off. And Speedax also tagged Almeza down on the B site push. It's all gone horribly wrong, and he's finalized as well. They're not going to push B. They're going to run into him. It's another headshot, and Z Power 1v5 has to somehow make this AK work. And he's about to get encircled. If he's not careful, he goes up. He's trying to play some mind games. Could get the drop, but you're just expecting that at least one of these players in the initial frags is going to be able to take some damage down, and Speedax goes out for the AK. 7 seconds to go, by the way, so even if Z-Power gets every headshot available to him, Nemiga will stop peeking, and they will pick up an 11th. I cannot believe that's just happened.
Dude, Speedax scouting there was absolutely nasty. Like, Jesus, man. That headshot he hit was something special. And that's a tough one if you're forZe, man. Like, you're trying to work on a comeback. You win the pistol. You're like, all right, let's go. Let's get this 7th round. Let's start closing the gap. And then Nemiga has boxed with the 5-7. Just the stone that went unturned, so to speak, on that outside push from forZe to kick things off. And then Speedax just laying down the law at the scout in the hell position, man. I mean, that was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, I mean, if to some it may seem foolish to charge him down, but it's a scout. Like, you're not expecting him to land the insta headshot, and you know if he misses his shot, he's basically dead. That's your way to explode out, get a bit of outside control, maybe push into heaven. And at that stage, Nemiga, even though they are ahead on players, still in a bit of a rough situation. So the fact that he holds with 2 kills from there is so exceptionally good. That forZe now into a force with 1 AK. That's it.
Yeah, they're in dire straits at this point. They've invested a lot into this force back, and if it does not work, Nemiga are pretty much guaranteed to get to 13 before forZe could put together some type of buy, and that would really put the pressure on forZe to win out almost to be able to avoid, you know, having to win in overtime or something like that. So they really need to get that next round going or somehow make this force work. Definitely looking to try to hit into this upper bomb site. Lollipop has certainly a very dangerous angle to deal with, and he has help from heaven.
Look out from Phase Crack allows him a little bit of safe passage to check a couple of extra angles, making sure that no one's up close again. This is the same position that Box ripped heads from shoulders. You want to make sure he's not there again.
True. Seems like the upper take is what's going to happen. They have the Molotov for that vent, which is going to flush a player out, gets the kill. They have the smoke for Mini as well, so maybe they could still make an upper take work out of this.
Speedax going to have to be pretty huge here. He does have a bit of crossfires being established as well, and now those CTs on main are going to try and push through there. He's doing so much damage. He's had a lot of impact. And now that USP is going to be brought out, the remaining Ts are both tanked down low, but so is MDS. Box last man standing. There's the MP9 frag. The Z-Power, 1 bullet anywhere on his person, and he is gone. Bomb also dropped in an awkward position, so Box just has to listen and actually gets him with the timing anyway. So Nemiga, I will say you get the round, but again, that is far from ideal.
Oh, yeah. Definitely wanting to win that one clean because you want to start building your bank up. I mean, that's kind of like your insurance policy to make sure that you start winning this game outright is by making sure that you're constantly able to get full buys. Now, luckily, it should be a full-on save, mostly Glocks from forZe, and so this is the round where you should be able to get some of that money back. should be winning with all 5 players left, or at most lose 1 here.
P250, that's it. It's the only thing that forZe have to work with. Box has been headshotted, and so SpeedAct. I mean, come on, guys. This okay, can't be real, can it? No, it's not real.
It's fine. It's all fine. No, we did have a Glock round that was successful yesterday.
Exactly. That was my thought process. Like, I've seen this before. I've seen this happen yesterday. Don't let it happen twice in a row.
CS is a hell of a drug, Vince. No doubt about that.
Still
so much
talent,
with so much chaos at the same time.
Entertaining, if nothing else. Very entertaining. You never quite know what to expect. It's kind of reminiscent. I'm not saying that it's like the same level as VP in their heyday, but like the whole Virtus Plow VP team, which sometimes would just be nuts and sometimes would go.
Because like while we're watching this round kind of waste away, there was a period, particularly early on in CS, like 2013, 2014, where like teams like Navi and stuff were establishing like the meta of CS of like playing default CS and playing to the late round and playing the map control style, the very cautious style that, you know, Zeus made very famous on Navi. And then, I mean, basically Blade just took that same system and, you know, made it even slower and more methodical with flip side tactics. And so the CIS region at that point kind of had a reputation of playing like slower CS, but nowadays you see some of these teams like forZe and like Nemiga and a couple other teams that just have that really wacky explosive style.
D-Power, aggressive with the AWP, nothing new there. Maybe trying to peek into huts. Just watching the angle for now. AK spray does a bit of damage, but it's just going to be winging SpeedAct more than anything else. Two players actually have made moves into Garage and Secret, so forZe looking like they want to start to make some presence felt outside. This may not work out for them. Bomb still dropped outside of lobby, T side of it. There'll be a wrap into Squeaky. Good opening pick for Flit. Lollipop thinking about the peak. They're going to pull grenades out, and that's going to be one. Gets Dink, can go back in for more. 40 seconds to play with. Face crack outside. Gets the better with the spray onto SpeedAct, and Jerry is also doing work. Lollipop now can perch at the back of the site himself and get some kills. Bomb's been dropped in a very bad position. It's outside of Decon, and Box can just sit here and watch now, even though his teammate's gone down. He's in such a good spot with a smoke and Molotov planted down and time running thin. He's heard a player drop into vents, has a perfect angle. Plus, remember, Z-Power has the AWP, so that barrel of the gun is going to stick through first. And now the flash is in, and there's the spray transfer. Box, flawless hold.
What a well done job there by Box. As you said, the bomb was down in really dangerous territory, but it was equally dangerous for Box when that flash comes in and both players are pushing you at once. You're going to have to make the spray transfer to win the round. Otherwise, you're going to get traded. It was a good idea from forZe how they were working together with their two players to try to trade him out, but just too good was Box there on the trigger. And that's going to put them at 14, and this is grim for forZe. They actually take just a deco here, which means they're basically playing for overtime. Want to get the full buy in the next round, but it's basically going to give Nemiga map and series point for free almost, unless the Deagles can find some crazy one-taps, which we do know they're certainly capable of that. Will Z-Power be one of them to do so? So close. Right on the money, but not quite hitting the target. It's a cruel mistress sometimes with Eagle Vents. Feel like you have it lined up perfect, and for some reason the bullet goes into an alternate dimension instead of their dome.
Absolutely. Like, I'll fully admit, I'm a boomer and trash at the game, but I never understand the Deagle. I see people using it, like really high-level players use the Deagle, and I just do not understand. It feels random to me, honestly. But I am garbage, so I'll hold my hand up and say that. There's Flit, though. Had the drop onto SpeedAct and then spins around for a second. He was able to just sneak his way into ramp. And Nemiga had no idea. MDS now gets fragged from the AWP, picked up from the corpse of SpeedAct. And it's looking good for forZe to potentially get themselves a 7th round. Lollipop on the other side of the doors gets one. He's been tagged down and finished off, courtesy of Almaze's Deagle. And Jo with his M4 going to be making moves downstairs. Keep in mind the economy on the Nemiga is not great, but with the kill onto Almeza, it puts this into the possibility of a clutch. He's going to blow up Decon to open up extra angles. Really well done. And now he can try and turn his attention elsewhere. Gets a bit overzealous thinking that Corpse is a player. He's making a lot of noise. And honestly, not enough time. And he's also thrown his... Oh no, Jo, what have you done? Okay, he gets it back. I thought he just lost his M4 trying to be smart. It's okay, he survives.
I just don't, like... These rounds don't make sense to me sometimes, man. Like, I don't know how forZe wins that. Apparently, Flit just somehow got into lower and then just walked up ramp completely undetected and gets a quick double kill. And then a CT is basically just caught in a one-and-done position in a lower bomb site, which he's also able to capitalize on with the AWP that he picked up. It's just mind-blowing that he somehow slips through the cracks and gets away with that.
Yeah, it really is. It's a surprise. It's confusion. I'm sure Nemiga were certainly a WTF moment as far as they're concerned.
Oh, yeah. They even asked about it in the in-game chat. They were like, "Where'd you come from?" So
that's
Flit obliged them with an answer. So
into Squeaky was so bad though. I don't know if you saw that, but it was so deep that it just allowed a free kill onto the main player pushing them. They almost one-wayed themselves, but Lollipop 17-9 spray can more than make up for that. And there's a rotation coming through. Oh boy,
it's a gift that keeps on giving. This game just. Absolute crazy shenanigans left and right all across the map, and now it looks like Nemiga finally will be able to get that map in serious point here, and indeed it will. Lollipop with 4 kills on the round. As you said, that smoke at Squeaky was quite awkward, but Nemiga do come out with that oh so glorious round numero 15. A chance to move on to the main stage, stage 3. Which stage 3 guarantees you top 8, which I'm pretty sure guarantees you some form of cash and, of course, the bigger amount of RMR points. So it's very important to make that stage. And from that stage, if you can get into playoffs, then you're really doing yourself wonders to get one of those top 5 positions in the rankings.
Power continues to just ball out of control. Box has been seen here before with a 5-7. This time it's the M4, and it's the same result with 2 kills. He goes down, but he's softened up Z Power for a 3rd on Jo, and Nemiga 2 kills away from moving through into the next stage, and forZe would have to play another best of 3 a little bit later on. Flit, though, wants to try and claw this one back. Both players very low, below 20 HP. The bomb under control of Nemiga, but Flit has time. He can try and wrap around the side of Secret.
Oh, man. Both players solo on HP and so much rides on this round. MDS has so many angles to worry about where this player may be coming from to collect this bomb. It's all going to come down to timing. A game of milliseconds, Vince.
He's positioned himself in a spot where he's covered from multiple angles, so I do like it from MDS, but as you said, timing is everything, and Flit, the timing's not going to work out for him. Nemiga get it done. A very poor second map, but they are going to come back on Nuke.